I've been using my Zero1 card for about 3 months now. And in short, I love it. Because even though it's throttled, it's good enough and an unlimited network is awesome. Let's dive in, shall we? Currently, there is only one plan available, costing 30 Singapore dollars a month, flat, sans promotional period. So let's get the specs out of the way. With this plan, you get 3GB of fast speed data, the rest unlimited at managed speed, 200 minutes of outgoing calls, with calls charged at 5 cents a minute after that, and unlimited incoming, 200 SMS outgoing, with text after that charged at 5.35 cents a text, and free incoming and caller ID. But no MMSs in this package. The fast speed data is limited in comparison with other MVNOs and carriers, but it's a rather ample amount considering it's unlimited, and the other parts of the plan is pretty well balanced. However, you better be happy with the built-in allocation of calls and texts, because unlike other MVNOs, there is no option to have packages to add data, text, or calls. If you use all the amounts provided, you'll be paying as you go from then on. First off, getting the plan was rather easy at first. I got in on the early promotional pricing of 20 Singapore dollars a month for submitting interest in February with my email, so yay for that. Registering for the plan was rather straightforward. It's very similar to other MVNOs where you fill out your details, you submit your identification card, the back and front of it, inserting my credit card details and checking out. As of today, there's no registration, SIM card, or shipping fee. Typical part of the cost of most MVNOs out there. Now at registration, I chose not to port in my number as I was not too familiar with the process of getting out of my current contract with my original telco, which is M1. Didn't seem like a huge deal at first as Zero1 does support porting in your number after signing up. You just get a temporary number in the meanwhile. Sounds great, right? More on that later. Zero1 does allow you someone else to collect your card on behalf of you if you're not around, which is great. My Republic. Shipping was fast and so was getting it to work. For my Mix 2 and my Huawei Mate 9, APNs will recognize the moment I plugged in my SIM card. Both devices logged on immediately to the Singtel network, which is what Zero1 is based off, and I immediately got the advertised full 4G speeds of 85 megabits a second. Not bad at all. Calls were good as expected for non-VoLTE calls, as Zero1 currently does not support VoLTE, as well as every MVNO currently in Singapore. SMSs work as expected as well. I mean, SMS is an SMS. There was a small bug in the beginning where my phone would not show the right carrier name, it would show Singtel instead of Zero1, but a quick software update fixed that, and it's a small cosmetic thing, it's nothing that future deal. What about this unlimited managed speed? According to Zero1, this managed speed should have apps such as WhatsApp, email, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube working normally. And realistically, it kind of does. From a speed test perspective, the throttle internet will start at a rather bursty 8 megabits a second and quickly throttle down to 1 megabit second up and down. Thankfully, the speed is symmetric and can be both achieved at the same time. Now I know that 1 megabit, 125 kilobytes a second, doesn't sound like much, but you'll be surprised with what you can do with it smoothly, mostly because of how consistent it stays. So let's tackle video streaming first. YouTube was extremely smooth at 480p with little to no buffering, allowing me to jump from minute to minute with no issues. Pushing the quality slider up to 720p can introduce some buffering depending on the video. On videos with little to no movement, it's fine, but videos with heavy movement does push up the bitrate and introduce a bit more buffering. And yeah, while 480p isn't the greatest, it still looks mighty fine for most things out there. 1080p though, not a chance unless you're willing to pause the video for a long time for it to buffer. Even though Netflix Helps page recommends rather high speeds for playing back their content, Netflix SD content loads perfect. It might take 10 seconds or so to start the stream, but once it starts, there is absolutely no buffering at all. Heck, even Netflix loads high video just fine. But since the switching is done automatically, you cannot select it manually and have to rely on the auto switch, which to be fair, generally works well. What about Vimeo, you ask? Who uses Vimeo? Moving on to services without the picture, Spotify works great and generally any music streaming service should, as long as it's not uncompressed files like Tidal. Most streaming services top up at 220 kilobits music files, which it handles like a champ as expected. Skipping songs are not a problem as well, as these services typically buffer the next song and the song after that to ensure no buffering. Moving on to social media, Twitter loads very quickly. However, it doesn't have videos autoplay and pictures can take a while to load. Overall, I say it's a fine experience if you don't scroll too quickly, or if you like to quickly scroll through your feed, expect pictures to take a while to load. Facebook is perfectly fine, stories take a while to load, but generally everything loads in a bit of time. Similar experience to Twitter. Instagram is delay a bit gram. Pictures take a few seconds or so, I'll say about 3 to 10 seconds to load, and so do picture stories. But good luck trying to load video stories. Instagram will automatically bump down the resolution of the video, but it still takes quite a while to load. My recommendation is to leave Instagram open for a while to let all the data heavy stories load if you want a smoother experience. Google Photos is a tad bit slow when it comes to loading thumbnails, but it loads quick enough to find a picture quickly. Tapping on the photo might take it a few seconds to load. WhatsApp and messaging services like it work fantastic, even for video calls. What about multitasking? Don't expect to be able to stream video while browsing the web. The prioritization always seems to take the first intensive task, so in most cases you'll end up with a very smooth video, but you'll be staring at a blank page for a very long time. If you need to download something for a very long time, let's say updating a bunch of apps, I recommend doing it when you're not using your phone, let's say when you're sleeping. It stays very consistent throughout the download though, never or rarely going below that 1 megabit a second speed. Upload all you would like in the background though, as that doesn't seem to noticeably impact performance. So in general, there are a few limitations, but overall it works pretty well. Okay, so data seems great. What about the rest? Well, like every MVNO in Singapore, it does not support voice over LTE. As such, calls aren't as clear as what you get on the 3 big networks, and every time you receive a call, you'll be dropped to 3G during the period of the call. Also, there is no mobile app to track your balances. Yes, I know it's unlimited data, and they do send you reminder texts if you have used up 90% or all of your full data speeds to notify you of the incoming throttling. However, it would still be great to have an app to track data usage and other statistics such as calls and texts. I also wish there were more add-ons. For example, fast data boosters where you need fast data for a short period of time, MMS, more calls and texts, roaming. Oh yeah, there's no roaming period. Once you're overseas, you get zero signal. Now they do have a roaming app which you can download, but other than it looking hella fishy and rough around the edges, its functionality is limited to making calls with an internet connection. Even if it was slightly expensive, having a roaming add-on option will be useful for short trips and places where getting a local SIM card is hard. Lastly, their customer support is very slow. At this point, the only way to contact them according to their website is through their email, and they can take many days to reply to queries. No official phone number or live chat. Well, they do have a phone number, but you have to Google it, and it's a random comment on Google Maps. Yay. Man, did they make it a pain for me when I was signing up for their service. Now granted, they just launched and might have a huge influx of queries, but my questions sometimes took 2 or more days just to get a reply, and I even had to run an email to them requesting an update. That slow customer experience translated over to my porting over experience as well. It took me over a month to port over my number, as they have absolutely zero presence online other than their website and Facebook. Twitter and Instagram? Nope. And their Facebook doesn't seem very well managed. It's kind of sparse right now, and their posts are really weird and short and no description at all. The comments don't have proper grammar sometimes. Heck, when they even launched, their SEO was so poor that I couldn't Google the name. Googling Zero1 brought up nothing except news articles, which I had to go to find the actual website. It seems to me that this launch was not very well executed, with important things for the modern age such as an app, social media presence, well-managed customer service missing from the start. But hey, at least their product works well. So who is this card for? At its $30 pricing, it's not competing with any unlimited plan. Rather, it's competing with a few various other options which offer about 5 to 7 gigabytes of fast data. And as such, if you use roughly that amount of data every month, you'll be better off going with those plans instead of Zero1. For those plans will provide you a constant speedy experience. Zero1 is for those who stream all the time, be it music or video, and they don't mind a little bit of downgraded quality or waiting around a bit. Let's do some math here. For example, let's say you stream 6 hours of music every day, and let's use Spotify high quality setting or their extreme setting. You will use up about 13 GB of data or 26 GB of data respectively for music, and that's not including other tasks. Though if you're just music streaming, Singtel does have a data-free streaming for services like Spotify and Apple Music, so you take that in mind. But Zero1 lets you stream from any service. Or let's say you stream 2 hours of Netflix every day, which at high quality will eat up 19.8 gig in a month. Or if you need to download or upload big files and you don't mind waiting overnight for it. I mean, 8 hours at 1 megabit a second is 3.6 gigabytes in the end. If you're that person, this plan is for you if you don't mind giving up a bit of slowness or streaming or playback quality. And hey, if you can get in on the promotional pricing, it's a pretty darn good deal. So thank you for watching my little review of Zero1. If you have any questions that I didn't manage to answer here today, leave them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them. If you like videos like this, I've been testing out a lot of plans recently because there's been a huge hoo-ha of new MVNOs in Singapore. Hit the subscribe button down below as I will be sure to make a lot more videos about it. Have a wonderful day guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!